Hi everyone and welcome to this first round of AWS unboxing services. My name is Sérgio Diogo. I'm a senior consultant at SmartWave here in Geneva, Switzerland, where I help customers through their AWS journey. My expertise is on the setup and configuration of secure AWS environments, and I also do cost assessment, cost governance, and cost monitoring to help customers to minimize their costs. So I hope you are ready to start unpacking the first AWS service. And for now, we'll start with AWS ControlTower. So let's jump into the console and know everything about AWS ControlTower. AWS Unboxing Services, AWS Unboxing Services. And here we are on the home page of AWS ControlTower. So let's find out what this service is about, when to use it, and most important, why you should use it, so that you and your business can take full advantage of all the benefits and features of AWS ControlTower. So what is ControlTower? As we can read here, AWS ControlTower will set up and govern your multi-account AWS environment. So this means that this is a service to be used whenever you have more than one account. And I think that everyone is now using more than one account on their environment. And if it's not the case for you, either you are not considering cloud seriously or you are doing it wrong. If you have doubts about the need of having more than one account, I invite you to drop me a message on the comments or send me an email. You have my email address here on the right below, and I will be more than happy to give you more information and also to provide you with some use cases where a multi-account environment is the right choice. Because whenever you want to keep projects, workloads, or applications apart from each other on regards to security, access, or billing, an account is the right boundary to use. Okay? So back to ControlTower. In order to manage and govern your multi-account environment, you need first to deploy a landing zone. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it. You cannot control air traffic without having a place to land your aircraft. Indeed, a landing zone is an AWS solution that provides a baseline to create a well-architected multi-account AWS environment that is scalable and secure, and that centralizes identity and access management, and that enables guardrails for security and compliance. And the great thing about this is that even with limited understanding of AWS, you can set up automatically a multi-account environment on which you can run secure and scalable workloads. And all this since the very beginning of your AWS journey. So let me click here and let's set up the landing zone. AWS Unboxing Services, AWS Unboxing Services. And here we are in the first page of the landing zone setup. And on step 1, we are going to review pricing and define regions. But before that, here at the top, you find information that is relevant in case you have already existing accounts being managed by AWS organizations, which is another AWS service previous to ControlTower that manages and governs multi-accounts as well. So there is nothing wrong with AWS organizations. You can still use it to manage and govern your accounts, but you will be missing all the benefits and features of AWS ControlTower, like the landing zone, the single sign-on, and the simplicity to create accounts that are well architected, secure, and scalable. So basically what this information here says is that if you have already existing accounts, you can still extend the governance of ControlTower to those. But this will not happen automatically. you need first to deploy your landing zone, and then you have to manually enroll your existing accounts. If this is your case, if you have already some existing accounts, what I recommend is to create a brand new account, empty, with no resources running on it. Again, don't use any of your existing accounts. So on that new and empty account, you will deploy your landing zone like we are doing here, and then once it is completed, you will then enroll your existing accounts. Okay? So below you will find information about pricing, and if the usage of ControlTower is free, the services that will be enabled and deployed by ControlTower are not free of charge. So you can click here to learn more about pricing, and in this page you have information like the services being deployed, and also if you scroll down, some cost examples based on different usage profiles. But what I can tell you from my experience is that the average cost is something between $10 to $30 per month, depending on the number of regions and accounts you will have. So I must say that this cost is quite low and very acceptable if you consider all the benefits you are getting. Anyway, if you want to use AWS seriously, you will sooner or later implement all the services and solutions that are being deployed here by ControlTower. So I would say that it's better to have all these being implemented from the start and automatically, rather than having to do this manually later on, or even worse, you end up forgetting to implement this at all. So definitely price is not a reason not to use ControlTower. Let's move to the home region selection, which is the AWS region where the landing zone accounts and their resources will be deployed. So make sure you choose the appropriate region to you according to your location or to your compliance needs, knowing that the landing zone accounts will host data that can potentially be audited. In our case, I'm choosing North Virginia. And then, in addition to your home region, you can select additional ones so that you can extend the governance of ControlTower to resources and workloads running on those regions. Imagine, for example, that we have another team that is operating in Ireland, so that I have workloads being deployed on the Ireland region. If we want to extend governance to those workloads, we'll have to define Ireland as a ControlTower region as well. You can also decide not to include other regions, and if you do that, you can still have resources and workloads running on those regions, but the management and governance of ControlTower will not be extended to those. Okay? And another thing is that you can also add regions once the landing zone setup is completed. Okay? So if you are not sure at this moment, you can skip the additional regions. Otherwise, you can already select some regions that you know you are going to deploy some of your workloads. So let me select Ireland in addition to North Virginia and click Next. On step 2, we'll now define the organizational units. As a reminder, an OU is like a folder that logically groups accounts together. So then when you apply certain actions, like a security policy, to one of those organizational units, such policy will be applied to all the accounts that belong to that organizational unit. We will start by defining the foundational OU, which will group all the accounts of the landing zone. And you can either accept their name suggestion, which is security, or you can define your own. You can rename your organizational unit at any time, so do not worry too much about your choices here. But for the fun, I will rename it to landing zone. And note that names are case sensitive in AWS. As you create new accounts, those cannot be grouped under the foundational OU. So you must create new ones. And here on the setup of the landing zone, you can start by creating an additional one. Again, you can go with their name suggestion, or you can select a new one, and you can even decide to not create any additional OU for the moment. And this is what I'm going to do. So I'm opting out the creation of an additional OU. And now I can then click next. Step 3 is about configuring the shared accounts, the landing zone accounts. Briefly, the landing zone accounts are the management account, which is the one here that we are using to deploy the landing zone, and that we'll then use to manage and govern the control tower organization. And we'll also consolidate the billing information from all your accounts. Then the log archive account that will stock on S3 buckets the log records from AWS config and from AWS CloudTrail, again from all the accounts. And finally, the audit account, which will be used to grant read and write access to all your accounts for specific teams, like InfoSec team, or for specific reasons, like auditing. As I mentioned already, it's very simple to create an account through ControlTower. All you need to provide is a name and an email address. If you remember, an account can be identified either by its account ID or by the email address that has been provided during the creation of the account. So given that the management account already exists, you don't need to provide anything here. And so you will be able to see the email address that was used for this account. For the log archive and audit accounts, we'll then provide a name and an email. You can again accept the name suggestions, noting that you will not be able to change them afterwards. So take your time in case you want to change them. In our case, I will accept the name of the accounts, and I will provide an email to both of them. So let me enter here the email for the log archive account, and for the audit account, as you can see, if I provide an email address that already exists, you will get a message stating that it's already associated with an existing account. So let me fix that. And now that everything is okay, I can click next and move to step 4. On step 4, we will have a chance to review all our choices, from the regions to the organizational units, also the landing zone accounts with their names and their email addresses. And then on the bottom, we will find information about the permissions being used by ControlTower. If you expand here, you will find a bunch of roles that you can review with their policy statements. And finally, another section regarding guidance. If you expanded it as well, you will find different types of information that I will let you read. And if you have questions, again, leave me a message on the comments or send me an email. But what is important for you to retain is that all resources and roles that have been deployed by ControlTower on all the landing zone accounts should not be deleted or modified if you don't want to have problems later on, okay? So I will click here to acknowledge my choices and confirm I have read the above information, and we can then start the landing zone setup. Okay, so this will take a while, around 1 hour. So let me pause here and I will return once the setup is completed. Okay, see you. AWS unboxing services. AWS unboxing services. So I'm back, and the setup of the landing zone is now completed. And once it is completed, you will see the dashboard of ControlTower that shows you information about the resources we have just deployed, with information reporting on the status of the accounts regarding both their enrollment and their compliance to the guardrails that have been enabled. And then on the left, you have a menu with features and functionalities you can now use, like the management and creation of new accounts, the ability to enable or disable guardrails, the identity and access management through single sign-on, and other features as well. But for now, I will stop here because I want you to digest all you have seen so far, okay? And I expect that by now you have a better understanding of what ControlTower is: a fully managed service that facilitates the creation of new accounts to achieve a multi-account environment, okay? And given the number of design choices you will have and the significant amount of time required to configure multi-accounts and services, I would say that this solution will not only save you a lot of time, but at the end you will get an environment that will be implemented with an initial security and network baseline that is ready for you to run secure and scalable workloads. So I hope that this is enough to convince you to use ControlTower. If you still have doubts why you should use it and what is the benefit for you and your business, again, drop me a message on the comments or send me an email. I will be more than pleased to share more information with you, okay? And then on the second round of AWS unboxing services, I will go more in detail on the dashboard information, and also I will explain how to create a new account through the account factory, how you can enroll an existing account, how you can enable more guardrails and grant access to your accounts using single sign-on. So before I go, I want to thank you for staying with me, and until the next round of AWS unboxing services, don't forget to practice. AWS unboxing services. 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 AWS unboxing services.